Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to episode 205. Thank you for joining us as always on this hypnotically pungent Sunday evening, Earth date January 3rd, 2021. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock. With me as always, my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
Hello, and welcome from the year 2021.
In the year 2021!
I was actually thinking the same thing earlier when I was trying to decide what I was going to say as my intro. You were quoting that old Conan O'Brien sketch, right?
Yes, oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Back before the year 2000.
I think they still do it.
I don't know, they don't. I've watched a lot of the new Conan, and I don't think I've ever seen them. Like, I think I've seen them once pay homage to it, but
oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually.
Fuck me, then I guess I was wrong.
Yeah. You were 100% wrong, and you should feel ashamed for not knowing anything.
I feel shame every minute of every day, Remington. You know this.
Oh, Brandon, why? Don't be ashamed. You're a wonderful boy.
Aw, wonderful boy. I'm a real boy.
I'm a real boy. Oh, so Brandon, tell me a little something. What you been up to?
Is that the segue?
There is no segue today, Brandon, only Zool.
Not much. I've been working on D&D stuff like crazy.
Yeah?
Like to a ridiculous degree. I've been working on D&D stuff for our campaign.
I'm so elated to be playing D&D again.
Yeah, you seem to be enjoying yourself.
I am. I mean, granted, I'm enjoying myself in part because I'm dicking around with new stuff.
Yeah.
But that's even when we're playing, it's very enjoyable. I'm really having a good time. Yeah,
so we've started playing D&D. I'm DMing, and then you have Remington playing, Bucky is also playing, and then our friend Ethan.
Right.
And I'm running a homebrew campaign that I've been working on called Stand for the Fire Demon.
Yep.
And yeah, I've been downloading PDFs like crazy. There's a website you can go to called The Trove, where they upload pretty much every D&D book PDF you can find. I don't know the legality of it or not.
Oh, I'm sure it's 100% illegal.
Fair enough, yeah. I wanted to hedge my bets and seem like I wasn't being a total scumbag. But I am still buying books, I will say that. Like when I download a PDF and I enjoy the book, I order it. So I have the Dungeon Master's Guide coming, and I also have Volo's Guide to Monsters coming.
Right, yeah. And I mean,
in hardback.
We have been playing on our Discord, and we've been playing using D&D Beyond. So for those of you who don't know about D&D Beyond, either because you're more traditional players or you guys don't play tabletop role-playing games at all or whatever, D&D Beyond is a website powered by Fandom Games, and they have a contract with Wizards of the Coast to allow you to purchase digital copies of the available sources. So Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, Volo's Guide to Monsters, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, pretty much any of them, and a bunch of adventures. So the pros and cons of it is that they have all of these digital books available. They are the same price that you would pay for a physical book, which kind of sucks.
They're lower than MSRP because MSRP on those books is $50.
Is it?
Yeah, but they are still more expensive than what you would pay for them on Amazon.
Right.
Like the Dungeon Master's Guide I bought off Amazon for $25.
Yeah.
On D&D Beyond, it's $30.
Right. So, like, if I click on Volo's Guide to... Did I buy Volo's Guide to Monsters? No, I didn't. Volo's Guide to Monsters is $30.
Yeah.
What'd you pay for it?
That's a little cheaper. Volo's Guide for Monsters, I paid $33 for.
Okay, so, I mean, still pretty close to MSRP. And on top of that, if you want to be able to share the information in the books with people in your campaign, you have to pay a subscription fee. And they have a few different subscriptions that you can do. And I have us signed up for, I think it's a monthly master tier, which pretty much gives us unlimited everything.
Yeah.
With campaigns, I can share unlocked official content with others for up to 5 campaigns. And we're only running one, but that's the only one that we can share unlocked content with.
Okay.
So that makes it a little nice because if somebody, sees something in a book that we can buy and then share that content with, so say if somebody wants to do a multi-class into like a prestige class of some kind, we can just buy that book and then they can build out their character on the website using that information.
Yeah, I mean, D&D Beyond is a great resource, but it also feels a little bit like a racket to me.
Yeah, I kind of agree. But the Master Monthly is $6 a month.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, I think when they first started off, they just had like a yearly subscription fee. And that was a little rough to pull. Because I think it ended up, I think it was more expensive, number one. And I think it was a higher price overall per month if you broke it down. So I think they've changed the pricing on it, but don't quote me for sure. Either way, they also have a Discord bot called Avray that will pull the character information and just gives us all sorts of ability to just kind of roll right inside of Discord if we choose to, and it displays things in a very nice way. We can look up anything that we have access to by using some simple commands. So like if we need to know what a spell is, we just type !spell and then the spell name, and it just kicks out the spell for us so we can read what it does.
Yeah.
And that to me is super, super convenient.
Yeah, it's super useful. It's learning the commands has been the most difficult part.
Yeah.
But once you learn the basic commands, it makes it a lot easier. Now, you've gotten really into like the combat initiative and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff that I don't think I'll use.
Right.
Because it's so complicated, or it appears complicated. I know if I played around with it for a while, I would probably get the hang of it. But we're trying to put it on YouTube, so I'm trying to keep the game moving.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've got 2 other players besides you and I.
Yeah. So I think for you and I, we should take some time to just run through some mock battles just so you can get familiar with doing the content if you're down for that.
Yeah, sure.
That way you can just kind of, the commands become a little more second nature to you. Because you can do a ton of things, but we don't have to do it that way either.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things where even if you end up not doing it that way, just knowing that you can if we need to for some reason. Like maybe somebody's has completely lost all of their dice, and they have to do everything on Discord.
Yeah, it's possible to do, which is really cool.
Yeah, just having the knowledge of the commands and stuff, I think, even if we don't use it, works out in our favor overall.
But I've been digging through the Theros book.
Okay.
Which is based off of the Magic the Gathering world of Theros. And it was one that I wasn't going to buy because it's set in the world of Theros. So whenever you pick up the book to play, all the classes and monsters and everything are flavored to be from Theros.
Uh-huh.
but I'm reading it and I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing so far. And the creatures themselves are really neat. Like they have new modifiers you can put on creatures to make them like Godborn and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I really dig it. So that's probably the next book I'm going to buy at some point. Not anytime soon,
Right. Was that
but at some point.
the Mythic Odysseys of theirs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I know that they have the Ravnica one as well.
The Ravnica one looks neat, but it's also very specific to playing on the plane of Ravnica. The only reason I would want it would be for the races.
Uh-huh.
But Wizards put out like a little primer with all the races and all their modifiers for free.
Ah. So even theoretically, if somebody wanted to play that, we could just homebrew up. And that's the other nice thing about D&D Beyond is if you want to set up a homebrew race, you can just do it from scratch.
Yeah.
And you can at least get a close approximation.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of cool tools. And we're not using Roll20 because most of us are playing on our phones, but I know Roll20 is fantastic for this kind of stuff too.
Yeah, for sure. Did you
Actually,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I know I play on my phone and Ethan's on his phone, but you and Bucky are both on the computer. So if I could get Ethan on the computer, I could go to mine and we could actually use Roll20.
Well, that's just it. I mean, if you specifically would use Roll20, you can just share your screen.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And then, I mean, Ethan can even view that on the phone.
Yeah.
So really the only person who would truly benefit from using the computer would be you. Did you get your desk set up?
No, I was going to build it with Thora this weekend,
Mhm.
but she ended up playing Roblox all weekend instead. She didn't want to help me. I'd be like, so you want to put this desk together now? And she'd be like, well, yeah, let me just finish what I'm doing. And then finishing what she was doing went to like 2 hours later. But my brother is coming over tomorrow to help me set it up.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm still going to get it set up and then borrow a chair from my parents.
Yeah, that's cool. I ordered...
but Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I ordered a new desk chair.
Oh, you did?
I did with $600. I didn't spend all $600 on it by any stretch, but this one is falling apart. I can no longer like raise and lower it. And the arms are like they have tension screws that are supposed to push up. Those are stripped out.
Oh.
So the arms are literally just kind of sitting in the slots all loose and everything. It's pretty
Damn, I was gonna offer to take that desk off that chair off your hands, but if it's that ratty, I don't know if I would even want it.
I mean, if you don't mind it, I mean, it still supports me. You're more than welcome to take my hand-me-down.
Yeah, I might do that actually until I buy a chair of my own.
What were you going to ask? Can it still what?
Oh, can you still put your arms on it?
Yeah, you can put your arms on it. They just wiggle.
Oh yeah, I've used that chair before. Never mind. I don't know why I'm acting like I've never used that chair before. What is chair?
It's not the one that you usually use when you're over here, but
yeah, I know, but I've used that other one before too.
Yeah.
So this is funny, going back to D&D, and this won't be D&D talk, even though I would love for it to be. I could talk D&D for hours at this point, especially with as steeped in it as I am lately.
Yeah.
I was asking Chad, the resident Dueling Ogres friend at this point.
Well, didn't we come up with a name for him? Wasn't he, oh God.
He was a mercenary for hire, but he had a better name than that.
Yeah. We're so bad.
Yeah, I know. But I was asking him about metals because he's a blacksmith.
Yeah.
And Bucky is playing, and Bucky is also a blacksmith. So every weapon he finds, he's like, well, what metal is it made out of? Are there any marks on it? What's it look like?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to learn more about it. So I was asking Chad, like, when would they use copper versus iron versus this? What is iron? What is steel? Like, I have no fucking clue. I'm so completely blind to metals.
Right.
So he was helping me, and then I told him that I'm basing some of my dwarven settlements off of the Inuit tribes. And he was like, oh my God, I know so much about them. So we started talking. Yeah, which was hilarious to me. So we started talking, and he's actually going to NPC a character for us coming up in the next couple of sessions.
Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's going to jump in. And he was like, I have a lot of time on my hands and I'm throwing myself into this. So how much of these dwarves can I create myself?
You're like,
And I
all
was
of
like,
it, by all means.
yeah, I was like, man, go for it. Create as whatever you want, as much as you want. I will throw it into the campaign.
That's awesome. That's even more
I'll
exciting.
never
I'm
turn
so
down anything
stoked.
to flesh out my world.
Right, for sure. That's
So
a good
stoked to have
DM right
Chad.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, Chad's a great role player.
That's a good way to DM as well. I mean, the less world fleshing out that you have to do that you can incorporate into your world because your players are excited about it and want to do their own thing. I mean, that makes for much better play because it integrates everybody into it more as well.
Yeah, exactly. It gives me more room to make a story. Like, you tell me that you have a wife and a child. Now your child can show up while you're in battle and be like, Dad, I brought you this.
Yeah.
Or, something.
Yeah,
Obviously, I would write something better than that, but
yeah, like hanging my children suspended from a from a giant statue when I'm in the void.
like a marionette. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was just a vision. That wasn't real.
It fucked up my character though. It was one of the best experiences I've had in D&D.
Yeah, your character really went dark after that.
Yeah, he did. It was so good. It's a nice plus too because Bucky is relatively new to playing D&D. Yeah, Ethan and I and Chad and you have been playing for, God, 10, 15 years or better.
Yeah.
Bucky, I think he's played some pre-made stuff, but he didn't make his character. It was given to him, and he just kind of had to roll with that, I think is how it went.
Yes.
So it's nice to give him a bigger, fuller view of it. But I think with all new players, it's difficult because you really don't know what to do or how to do it. And as we release the recorded episodes on YouTube, if you pay attention, you'll hear how he's very passive almost, especially like when he's talking to other people.
Passive in what sense? Like saying stuff like, I want to ask him where the well is.
Yeah.
Things
Instead
like
of just straight up asking. Yeah. So I think there was one point where I actually kind of called him out and was like, hey, why don't you just ask instead of being so passive about it?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. Not like in a straight up like dickish way, but it's hard to say. It's hard to let somebody know that part of the immersion is just being the character, not playing from a third party perspective.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's hardest about starting D&D is you have to kind of let yourself go.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that you have to understand that everybody is there to be nerds. Everybody's there to have a good time and play their characters. And nobody is going to make fun of you, to seriously make fun of you for role-playing your character.
No.
If they do, you're in the wrong group.
Right, yeah, for sure. And I don't think that is the issue. I think it's when you're playing like a video game or something, there's that disconnect. Where you're playing a character, but you are you, and you're just controlling the character.
Yeah.
In D&D, it's very much like acting. You are the character. You are not playing the character. You are the character. So whether that character mirrors you in real life, like Bucky is a metal worker, he's a blacksmith, and all of this in real life. So he has this knowledge that is far and above what even you and I have.
Right.
And he mirrored his character a little bit on himself. So that next step is to
he even named himself Buchenwald.
Yeah. Of course, his real name isn't actually Bucky either.
Yeah, that's true.
That's just how he was introduced to us. And that's his online persona. So he prefers to stick with it. But I will never
listening to...
Go ahead.
I was listening to Kapow, the Pop Cultured podcast, our rival podcast, and they were giving us shit for calling him Bucky.
Oh yeah.
because they were the ones. One of the members of that podcast was the one who started calling him Bucky.
Yes, absolutely.
So they were like, they have Bucky on and they call him Bucky, and they're not even the ones who named him that.
Well, they shouldn't have introduced us to him as Bucky. That's all on them.
They know that
everything is their fault.
We'll take just about anybody on the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's so funny.
I think my favorite moment in the campaign so far involving Bucky is you guys are walking through the swamp and you see that giant hornet's nest.
Uh-huh.
If you remember, and I described giant hornets crawling all over it. And Ethan was like, well, how big are we talking? Like a toilet paper tube? And I was like, no, they're like cat size.
Yeah.
Like house cat size. And Bucky goes, and it was so genuine. He goes, oh my God. And it was just perfect because any other D&D player who's been around a while is like, oh, a giant monster, a giant insect. Okay, they're big.
Yeah.
But to Bucky, a giant insect that's the size of a house cat is still new to him. So it's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I love having that level of surprise from a new player. It really makes it rewarding as a DM to throw in monsters.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, anyway, what have you been up to, Rim?
Let's see here. I got COVID.
Yeah.
So that's sucked. But it was a relatively mild case. So I had a fair amount of sinus issues. I felt like I was running a fever, even though I never actually did run a fever that I'm aware of. At one point, I just stopped trying to take my temperature because I felt hot, but it was reading 98.6 or 98.7 or 97.2, you know, all within the realm of relatively healthy. And I was just like, fuck it, I'm not even going to bother taking my temperature anymore. If I run a fever, I'll know it because when I run a fever, my body responds by like making my lips swell.
Huh.
And then I'll break into either a warm sweat or a cold sweat. And I didn't really, I maybe did that one day, and that was about it. I lost my sense of smell, and it is slowly returning. I've pretty
that's
much
weird. You say you lost your sense of smell because I think you still smell terrible. Eh? No.
You haven't even seen me, so that means nothing to me. Although you're probably right.
Know.
It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing to sit down and take a poop and not be able to smell your poop.
Is it?
It is.
I feel like that would be a blessing.
You would think, but I mean, I don't know. I rely on the smell of my poop to let me know how healthy I am.
See,
it
just sounds like you like smelling your own poop.
No, it's just weird is what it is.
Yeah, I can't imagine losing my taste, how weird that would be. I know from other people I've read have said that it makes eating like more of a chore than anything else because you can't taste anything.
Oh yeah, for sure. It didn't take away my sense of taste, but smell and taste are tied very closely together. So
right,
the things that you quote unquote taste, you're actually smelling. So like garlic, you know, any of the herbs or spices, that taste that you get is actually the smell.
Okay.
So like I could still taste. I could taste salty, I could taste sweet, I could taste bitter, you know, the 4 or 5 different things that your taste buds actually register. But anything with umami, anything that had, you know, that extra like flavor profile, I didn't get. So I mean, I could eat a pizza and I could know that the pizza tasted salty and warm, and I could, if it was a sweeter pizza sauce, I could taste the sweetness of the sauce, but I didn't get the acidity of the tomato to go along with that, or or the different spices that were in the pepperoni or the sausage. So it's so weird. It's so weird.
That does sound weird.
Yeah.
How's Ginger doing?
She is getting by. she also got it, of course. I got my positive test on the 24th, and then the 26th we went, and she took a test. I took a rapid test, and she took a send away test. Her send away test came back negative, and we were like, bullshit, because she was already starting to feel the effects of it. So she took another one yesterday, the day before, and finally came back positive. She mostly needed a positive reading for work purposes.
Yeah. So is she feeling the side effects from it?
Yeah, she is mostly getting the body aches out of it and shortness of breath. We have an inhaler that helps, and she's taking sinus meds to help with the sinus pressure and stuff. So really, I mean, it's just monitor it and stay away from people, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's all you can really do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, man.
Yeah, it hasn't been too bad. Just mildly annoying to not be able to taste, and it, like I said, it is coming back. So
Yeah. Which is good because some people don't get that taste back at all.
yeah, it's been really nice to be able to, like, right before we started recording, just because I was starting to get hungry, I had a banana, and then she had made some no-bake cookies. So I was like taking a bite of a banana and taking a bite off of a no-bake cookie, and I can finally, like, I can get the peanut butter and the chocolate tastes, quote unquote taste, the smell of it.
Yeah.
And then mixing that with the banana, oh my God, what a great combination.
Man, that does sound really good.
Yeah, I love banana with chocolate and banana with peanut butter. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I've never had banana with chocolate, I don't think, but banana with peanut butter is delicious.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our COVID talk. That's
Yep.
all we're going to talk about. No more COVID talk.
Yep, that's it.
We're all done.
Yep.
I feel like we talked about it a bunch last episode.
We did, and I mean, aside from the fact of mentioning that I had it, and I get to go back to work and continue my sanitizing regimen to make sure that I'm not exposing any others to anything, and
Yep, just wait until you can get the vaccine pretty much.
Yep, pretty much.
That's what I'm doing, just holding off until I can get the vaccine, not going anywhere. But that's not much different than how I lived my life normally, so.
All right, man, let's get some fucking stories down. I have like 12 different things that I can talk about.
Really?
Yeah, pretty hard look at some space news, but I've got a little bit of movie and stuff as well. What are you bringing to the table today?
I have 7 stories.
Great. So we'll not get through all of them. That sounds good.
Yeah, we won't get through our stories at all. 4 of my stories are just one sentence news things. So we should be good.
Sweet.
Why don't you go with the story first to mix things up?
So on Twitter, James Gunn confirmed that the Suicide Squad will have an R rating, the next Suicide Squad movie.
Cool.
So this one will feature Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, Peter Capaldi, Sylvester Stallone. Just, I mean, like you said, it's a mess of people. Also, John Cena, which...
Oh, really? John Cena's in it?
Yeah, man. John Cena is playing, oh God, what is that character's name? Peacemaker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, with the big shiny silver helmet and everything.
Yeah.
So that's all well and good. It's great that it's a movie that should be rated R.
Exactly.
So
I never saw the first one though, to be fair.
I didn't really either, just because it got fairly well panned, and I'm sure that part of that is because it was not rated R.
Yeah.
But one of the funny things that came out of me just finding this story is that apparently John Cena, there was one scene where he almost actually puked. Apparently, while they were filming, they had to do 31 takes for this seamless take that was supposed to happen. And apparently as to quote him, I had to eat an empanada and I took it upon myself to try to eat the entire empanada in a seamless take, thinking it's going to look great. The actor also added that eating one more empanada would have likely resulted in him vomiting. Quote, but then people are going to see the movie and nobody's going to care. So please remember the empanadas. So I thought that was ridiculous and hilarious. And I don't know. That was my little story about it. So we've got rated R and just look out for the empanadas.
I'm interested in seeing this Suicide Squad. The first one, even before I knew that it was panned, I really didn't have a huge interest in seeing it outside of thinking Margot Robbie's beautiful.
Right, right, yeah. Yeah, I understand.
But yeah,
that.
this one I'm definitely more drawn to.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of rated R superhero movies.
Yeah, so do I.
There's a lot more you can do with them.
There is. And there are a lot of comics out there that, by and large, are more rated R anyway.
Yeah.
So just because comic is in the title, comic book movie or a comic book, doesn't mean that it's for children. And that's the stigma that has been with comics for a long time, even though comics have been rated R for a long time.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, aside from pure capitalism, why you would attempt to make a property that is rated R in the comic books PG-13 or less anywhere else.
I think you hit the nail on the head right there. It's just pure capitalism.
Yeah. They're just trying to hit the widest audience that they can, but the problem is that your best money makers are going to be making a good enough movie regardless of its rating that people come back and pay to watch it again and again.
Yeah.
Instead of trying
it feels like it's all about the first weekend. That's all they care about is the opening weekend money. I know that that's where movies make most of their money is opening weekend, or make maybe not most, but a lot of their money. But it seems like that's what they push for. It's like, it's a new Suicide Squad movie. It's a DC movie. Come see it.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't like it? Well, thanks for the money.
Yeah. Speaking of opening, Wonder Woman 1984 closes in on 30 million at the domestic box office, even in the wake of HBO having some glitches while showing it. They recently crossed over the $100 million mark at the worldwide box office, but Patty Jenkins' DC sequel has, unsurprisingly, according to this article on comicbookmovie.com, failed to make much of an impact domestically.
Yeah.
Though the movie again claimed the #1 spot during its second weekend on release, Diana's new solo adventure only took in $5.5 million, bringing its domestic total to $28.5 million. This marks a 67% decline from the film's $16.7 million opening weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Though the pandemic can obviously be blamed for this drop, a more negative second wave of reviews and a decidedly mixed reaction from fans may have also played a part. According to this, the movie dipped from 89% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes to a current 60%.
Jeez.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
I haven't seen it myself, but the people that I've talked to who have seen it have all given it like a strong meh. Like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't good, it was just another movie.
Yeah. Which, I'll take meh over bad, I guess.
Yeah.
But that will also affect the box office totals, because like if it's just meh, then maybe it's not worth seeing with any expediency. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and you don't even have to wait for streaming anymore, though. You can just get HBO Max and watch it on there.
Exactly. And also the idea of it being meh is like, if it's really, really good, then people will want to go see it and drop that extra money. Or if it's really, really bad, other people will want to watch it just so they can say, oh my God, you're right. This is the worst piece of crap I've ever seen. So.
Yeah. But when it's right there in the middle, it doesn't really draw anybody in.
Right. Exactly. I'd still like to see it, though. I didn't watch the first one, so I really want to watch the first one before I see the second one. But
yeah, the first one was good. I really liked the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It cracks me up that we're presumably a nerd podcast. We talk about nerdy things.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to movies, we're like Suicide Squad. No, we haven't seen it. Wonder Woman 84. No, I haven't watched it.
Yes, we also talk about that fact frequently too.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, what are we doing with this podcast?
Nothing. But people still listen to it, so thank you anyway.
Yeah, thanks for listening to us bullshit about things we have no clue about.
It's like they said, they come for us, they don't come for the content.
Well, speaking of Wonder Woman still, Warner Brothers has already greenlit Wonder Woman 3.
Oh, yeah?
Yep, and it is going to be written and directed by Patty Jenkins, who wrote Wonder Woman 84
Mm-hmm.
and directed it, and she directed the first Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, the 1984 is still doing okay.
Yeah.
It's just not doing as well as they had hoped.
That's the problem with those big blockbuster tentpole titles, is doing well isn't good enough because they put so much money into them that those movies have to blow everybody out of the water monetarily.
Yeah.
Or they're considered failures.
And I mean, it's a really interesting look at what Marvel is doing right now. Yeah, they're still going to be putting out movies, but now they're moving to like series shorts and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's interesting as well.
Yeah. WandaVision, for instance.
WandaVision looks so good.
Do you think so? I think it looks so weird.
Exactly. I think it looks super weird, which is going to make it good.
I think we're going to have Bucky on maybe next time to talk more about the Marvel stuff, since he's kind of our go-to for the Marvel universe. I think I'd like to do that. But I was reading up because apparently they are including a big montage where they kind of recreate the Brady Bunch opening sequence.
Okay.
And that was just one of the stories that I happened to come across. So I went and I looked up a few of the trailers for it. And I've kind of put together what the movie is about, but the first couple of trailers, I was just like, what is happening? Like, literally, what the fuck is going on? I have no idea. It's almost like they're just bouncing between iconic TV stuff and this crazy over-the-top TV tropes. And then finally, I kind of got to see that maybe they're trapped in this alternate reality or something. Is kind of what I'm putting together.
Yeah, from what I understand, that's what the premise is that they're trapped in like this alternate reality and they're slowly figuring out that they're trapped.
Yeah. But to me, that's going to make for a really weird couple of beginning episodes if they're just completely involved in it.
Oh, for sure. But I love weird, so
yeah,
bring it on.
So just kind of to recap, and maybe hopefully in preparation for Bucky, the stuff that's coming to Disney Plus in 2021 as far as Marvel is concerned, we've got WandaVision, The Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, which I watched a trailer or two for Loki, and that it looked pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm not super excited about Loki, but I'm not a big fan of the character.
The character himself or the actor?
The character himself.
See, I think Tom Hiddleston has really done a great job at just making Loki fucking adorable.
Oh yeah, Tom Hiddleston does a great job. I just don't like Loki as a character, really. I don't know. I can't put my finger on what it is I don't like about his character. I think he's just kind of annoying.
I mean, yeah, I can see that. We also have Marvel Studios' What If, reimagining famous events from the films in unexpected ways, which could be interesting. We've got Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, Legends. Those are all the ones that are going to come to Disney Plus in 2021.
All of those are just 2021?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh my god.
And I think like all of them are miniseries.
Yeah, they are.
So who knows? I mean, I don't know if they're miniseries or proper series. I like the idea of miniseries though. So, because you can tell more of the story than what would happen in, a 2.5 hour movie. and really be able to dial in and flesh out some things. But I'm also okay with them ending after, 6, 12, 18 episodes and just being done with it.
Yeah, same here. We don't need like 4 or 5 seasons of shows every time.
Yeah, for sure. There's a place for that.
Yeah, sometimes seeing a one and done story is all that you really need.
Yeah, exactly. My final bit of Disney properties. This one was just a cute little story. The Mandalorian.
I love cute little stories.
Yeah, Mark Hamill responds to Ming Na Wen's praise. For those of you who don't know, Ming Na Wen made her big appearance in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Agent Melinda May. She was kind of the right-hand man to Coulson. She also did the voice of Mulan in the original Mulan movie, as well as making a cameo appearance in the live action. And she is playing Fennec Shand in The Mandalorian. She's also set to star in the Book of Boba Fett and The Bad Batch in the animated series, The Bad Batch, which will be coming as well. But what makes this story fun is the fact that, mind you, I haven't seen any of The Mandalorian. So this is getting into spoiler territory for The Mandalorian. If you haven't watched it, just skip this entire part, but it's still super cute and I'm going to talk about it. So even though I haven't seen The Mandalorian, apparently Mark Hamill reprises his role as Luke Skywalker in, what'd you say, the last episode?
Yeah.
Of this coming season or something like that? Or
yeah,
of
last
this
episode
current
of
season.
season 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she went to Twitter and said, "I've reached nerd nirvana. Gotta say, this is way cooler than the time Steven Tyler spilled red wine on my arm and wiped it off with a cocktail napkin at a party." Hamill responded with, "So this happened and I'm literally speechless other than to say the pleasure was all mine." Apparently she had gone on to say, "You and Luke have been immensely inspirational and impactful to my childhood and as an adult. To have shared a scene with you in The Mandalorian is truly one of the biggest highlights, not just in my career, but in my life." And
oh, wow, that's really sweet.
It is. It's so sweet. Apparently she's a huge nerd anyway and is a huge Star Wars fan. So the fact that she is not only playing a character in Star Wars, in the Star Wars universe, but seeing actors have their little nerdgasms about working with other actors that, it's fun and it's humbling in a way that reminds us that these people are people, and, where a lot of people just naturally put successful actors on a pedestal, that they can still be giddy about meeting somebody else that inspired them to do what they're doing.
Yeah, to be just as nerdy as the rest of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't remember if we've ever talked about this before. Who's a celebrity you would love to meet?
Oh gosh. There's quite a few. I would have liked to have met John Candy.
Yeah.
Any of the Monty Python guys. Mel Brooks was a huge inspiration to me, to my comedy and my delivery while I was growing up. I'd love to meet him. Even though I feel like 90% of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is bullshit.
Yeah.
But regardless, like, just watching him in an interview is funny, because he'll tell these stories and there always just seems like he's putting his own spin on them, and maybe they didn't happen exactly the way that he remembers them happening.
Yeah.
But Gene Wilder, I would have loved to have met him. Yeah, just there's quite a few. I don't know if there are any current ones. I mean, that's not entirely true. I'd like to meet Mark Hamill, not just for the Star Wars stuff, but mostly actually for the Joker's stuff.
Oh, yeah.
God, he's such a good Joker.
Yeah, he is.
His voice will forever be my Joker. Like, nobody else can do the Joker justice. Because
I would have to say that he's my favorite Joker as well.
He developed such a range with that character. Like, watching other people do it, even in a series, they just feel flat compared to what Hamill brought to that character.
Although I do like Heath Ledger's Joker a lot.
See, Heath Ledger's Joker was, to me, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and say it. To me, that felt kind of one-dimensional as well. Now, I think that were he to have not been in a movie, because that's the other thing that you kind of have to pit that up against, is that being in a movie, if that movie is not about you specifically, it's really hard to get the depth into it. I would say as far as like depth of character, Joaquin Phoenix had the ability to go there.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you got to see him run through the gamut of emotions. Whereas a lot of the other Jokers are just, like I said, flat or one-dimensional, where it's just like you can tell that they're a little psychotic, or you can tell that they're a little this or that, but there's not this, like, they didn't have enough time in a movie like Heath Ledger or Jared Leto, or even Jack Nicholson, although Jack came really close.
Would you really consider the Joker a nuanced character, though?
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think we can give Mark Hamill the credit, and the writers for Batman the Animated Series, for breathing that life and breathing that nuance that the Joker could have into the character. Because there were episodes of that where Joker was like, you genuinely felt sympathetic to him.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you genuinely felt like he was a crazed sociopath or a psychopath. And even through into the video games, where he may not play a huge part, but it's still being voiced by Hamill, all of that information is still there, and it still comes through in his performance. You can go back and replay in your head while you're playing one of the video games with him, and remember that one time where you felt empathy for the Joker. So that's something that a lot of the other people who have played the Joker didn't get a chance to do, just because, you know, they were a part in a movie, and what Joaquin Phoenix was able to get a little bit closer to. But when you've been playing the character for fucking, 20 years?
Yeah, you get that character down pretty well.
Exactly. All right. That's enough of my ranting about the Jokers and Mark in general. That came off of a complete.
I had more to say.
That came off of a complete segue of you asking me people that I'd like to meet. So.
All right. So Remington, this news is exciting for me especially.
Okay.
Because you know that I'm a collector of consoles.
Yes.
Were you aware of that?
I am most certainly aware.
Okay. So I've got the Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, a whole slew of old school video game consoles and new consoles.
A litany.
Yeah. Of consoles.
A litany of consoles.
Well, there's a new console coming out that I really, really want to get, but it's going to be out of my price range.
Okay.
Have you heard of the KFC console?
No, I have not.
You seriously haven't heard of the KFC console?
No, I have 100% not.
Yeah, KFC had teased a console that they were going to release, and people thought that it was just a joke to go along with the release of Cyberpunk 2077.
Uh-huh.
But no, they released the specs for it and what it looks like. So here's some of the specs of this console, all right?
Okay, go ahead. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah. The case is built by Cooler Master.
Uh-huh.
It's a custom-built NC100 chassis. The CPU is an Intel 9 Extreme Computer Element PCIe-based 9th Gen Intel chip.
Okay.
The GPU is an Asus RTX-supported hot swappable GPU.
Right.
It has two 1 terabyte Seagate solid-state drives.
Mm-hmm.
It is VR ready with ray tracing technology, 240 frames per second at 4K quality.
With up to 240 hertz output, yeah.
And I'm sure you're looking at it now, so you're seeing the big selling point for it, right?
Yes, I am. So, do you want to do the reveal for it, or do you want me to?
You can go ahead and do the reveal for it.
So, the Cooler Master chassis features the world's first built-in chicken chamber. Never risk letting your chicken go cold again thanks to the patented chicken chamber. Utilizing the system's natural heat and airflow system, you can now focus on your gameplay and enjoy hot, crispy chicken between rounds. Because
So
nothing
is
says gaming.
Slot.
Hold on. Because nothing says gaming like letting your controller slip out of your fucking hand because you're covered in fucking KFC chicken grease. Oh, God. What were you going to say? Go ahead.
What it is like a compartment at the top of the chassis that you open up, and there's like almost a metal grill there. And you put your chicken on this grill and then close the lid, and the heat from this system keeps your chicken warm.
Yeah. It's so good. The tray is located over top of all of your components.
That was my thought too. It does not seem safe.
Like, if it's not properly sealed and chicken grease just drips into your shit, that is a fire waiting to happen.
What interests me about this is they're probably, I don't know if they're going to sell it or if it's going to be one of those things where like they send it out to YouTubers and then also like buy a KFC bucket to enter for a chance to win the KFC console. Like one of those things.
Yeah.
But I really want this console. Not even to play.
Yeah, just to have.
Just to have as part of a collection would be fantastic.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's it's pretty amazing as far as it goes. I love the idea of using the thermal properties of your computer to keep heat warm. I remember when I was running my Phenom 2 toward the end of its life, and I was trying to do video editing and stuff. That sucker would literally get hot enough to cook an egg on. And it would still chug along. It would still chug along. That was what I loved about it. It would thermal throttle, and it would definitely lock up the system. But if I just left it to do what it needed to do, that fucker would still perform.
I'm amazed that we managed to get so many episodes out of that computer towards the end.
Yeah.
That thing was a beast. It held on.
Oh, yeah. I loved it. I mean, I ran that computer for way longer than I rightfully should have, and I did streaming off of it, and I did video editing and audio editing, and it did its thing. It was slow and it was tedious, but by God, it did it.
Yeah, it got the shit done.
Yep. I'm really upset because I have technically all of the parts and stuff for it, but I accidentally cracked the motherboard.
Oh, man.
Yeah, because Ginger had bought me the that Corsair CPU water cooler unit.
Uh-huh.
And when I was taking it off of the old one to put onto the new one, I think it had a back plate that you had to use adhesive on, and as I was trying to remove that back plate, I ended up cracking the motherboard.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So I'd have to find an old motherboard that was the same in order to like build it back up again if I ever wanted to. Not that I would need to, but
do you have a water cooling system in your new computer then?
yes. Yeah, it's the same CPU water cooler that I had in that old one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I kept all of the extra parts and stuff. I keep all of my boxes. So the Phenom 2 was an AMD processor. Right now I have an i5 Intel processor, 7500. And I kept all of the plates because the cooler the Corsair CPU cooler had both plates for AMD and Intel, so it could work on both.
Okay. You could always save up. You could always get another motherboard, the one that you had, probably pretty cheap now, and you could build it up as like an older retro computer.
Yeah, I could. Or just use it as a streaming computer, streaming PC, because it would handle just the streaming and use
Did I talk about wanting to move my gaming PC into my old computer case?
I don't know if you've ever mentioned it on podcast.
So I have an old computer case from like a computer from the 90s.
Right, yeah.
And I wanted to move my gaming motherboard and graphics card into this old case.
Uh-huh.
So it looked like this old ass computer, but inside it was a pretty fast gaming computer.
Yeah.
But my family talked me out of it. My brother especially was like, you have a perfectly good case. Why would you waste your time doing this? And it was hard to explain to him, just like, I want to do it because I can.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's the maker in you, you know?
Yeah.
The maker in you wants to reuse
The only
that.
problem is that there's not a lot of fan space in the old computer, which is pretty detrimental to running a gaming PC.
Well, that can always be fixed. We can
Yeah,
always...
and I thought about that. I could drill holes in it to put the fans in, but then it doesn't look like a retro case anymore because it has holes drilled in it for fans.
It depends on where you put said holes. Because if the front panel and maybe the left panel that's like not facing a wall or something, it'll still look like an old retro computer from the 1990s.
Yeah, that's true.
As long as it's big enough to fit a full ATX board, which I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's a full-size case.
I don't know, man. I think we should still do it one day.
Yeah, if you ever want to help me out drilling some holes and like measuring it out to put the fans in there, I would love to do that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we might even need to install new standoffs and stuff too, just to keep the motherboard from touching the case. I don't know if the holes would line up the same or not.
They looked like they did. I held the motherboard up to it and it looked like they matched up.
Yeah. I don't know if they have changed that much over the years, where the actual supports are for the standoffs on motherboards.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have the four corners and the center one, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
So what do you think about these mysterious monoliths that have been appearing everywhere?
I think it's just an artist doing their thing, really.
There's been like over 50 monoliths that have appeared around the world now.
Have there been?
Yeah.
I haven't been keeping up with it. I've known of a couple, 2 or 3, and I thought that there was one where an artist actually came forward and said, yeah, I've put these monoliths all over the place.
There was an artist collective who said that they did the one in Utah. But besides that, like some of the monoliths have ended up being publicity stunts or for marketing for different stores and whatnot.
Okay.
But some of them are still unknown. Like the Utah monolith, the one that started the whole thing, was discovered this year. People went back through Google satellites and saw that the monolith was built between July and October of 2016 and installed there.
Yeah.
So it's been there for 4 years before it was discovered.
Yeah. Which, I mean, as far as that goes, from the perspective of an eccentric artist, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Of installing a piece somewhere in the middle of fucking nowhere and just waiting to see when it'll show up.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And let's take that to the next logical conclusion. Let's say that this person or persons installed a monolith in the Utah desert 4 years ago. And then after a year or two, nobody found it. And they're like, I wonder how many times we can get away with doing this. And so they go out into the world, you know, of course, all before the pandemic when you could travel however you wanted to. Got the stuff put together, put up monoliths in the middle of nowhere all over the place, and then sit back and wait.
Yeah, I love it. I love this idea.
So, I mean, I know that isn't there a lot of people who are wanting to believe that it's like
aliens
and that sort of thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. As much as I want and love aliens to be a thing, I don't think that these are those.
Yeah, it's not aliens. It's people, especially once you start getting corporations putting them up as publicity stunts.
Yeah.
It starts to lose its magic.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The original one was 9.8 feet tall, so it was fucking huge.
Yeah.
There was another one of many found in Atascadero, California. And it was torn down by a militia and replaced with a large cross. The militia was heard saying, we don't want illegal aliens from Mexico or outer space.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're being totally serious too. This isn't like some tongue-in-cheek thing they were doing.
Yeah. So we'll replace it with a symbol that is supposed to represent hope, inclusiveness, and a pleasant afterlife. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, a bit ironic, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
People are so fucking stupid. I can't
They
get
are.
over it. This past 4 years, but this year especially has shown me how stupid people are.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I've got some space news that'll go along with that, but I want to interject this one real quick. This is a speaking of stupid people.
Okay.
Logan Paul is pushing for a fight with Marvel star Chris Hemsworth. The
Yeah,
Mercurial.
who the fuck is Logan Paul?
You don't know who Logan Paul is?
Like, I'm familiar. I know he's a YouTube guy, right?
He started off on the Disney Channel, and then I believe Disney ended up firing him because his YouTube channel was taken off and he was doing stuff that was not, copacetic with Disney.
Yeah.
And then he built up an entire following, and then he got a whole lot of bad press for showing the dead body in the suicide forest in Japan.
Oh, okay. That was him.
And then, which apparently he's suing about now. I don't know. I didn't read that story because that was before I found this story, and I was just like, I don't care about Logan Paul.
Yeah. And
But
now your metrics are going to be all Logan Paul.
Oh God, I know. I'm going to be very upset by this. But he then staged a fight between another YouTuber called KSI, to which he lost that fight, and then pursued fighting Floyd Mayweather, which is an open ticket right now. It hasn't happened yet, but it is going to. It's set to happen. So after Floyd Mayweather absolutely murders him, because that's what's going to happen, he wants to fight Chris Hemsworth. The Mercurial influencer posted that he would be down to fight Thor on Twitter. Batman Boxing posted a video of Hemsworth getting some work in with a trainer, and Paul thinks he'd be up to the challenge. Now the responses to the tweet are about what you'd expect. People clamoring to be his sparring partner, fans of the Paul brothers, and others who despise them both. But there's no question that seeing an MCU actor trade literal jabs with a YouTube sensation would bring a lot of eyeballs. Just a few weeks ago, Jake Paul managed to leverage his exhibition match against former NBA star Nate Robinson into the biggest fight on a card that included Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. So needless to say, this would do numbers, but don't count on the Thor actor stepping in the ring with Paul, despite the massive payday there.
Yeah, ugh.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say to that. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean,
this story...
I hate rich people.
Or just dumb people.
No, mostly rich people.
You say that right up until you get rich, Brandon. It's going to happen one day.
Yeah, as soon as I'm rich, I'm like, man, poor Brandon sucked.
This article goes on to quote Paul talking about how he'd whoop Floyd Mayweather's ass, which is just
ridiculous.
Yeah. And I don't know. I thought it was so dumb, and I love Chris Hemsworth. He's fucking amazing. He seems like he's just a wonderful, wonderful guy.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth is a great actor too.
Yeah, exactly. And just, I don't know. I couldn't let it go. I was just like, I gotta talk about this amount of dumb.
Well, so, I appreciate you bringing up this story because I would not have believed it otherwise.
You're welcome.
It's just somebody trying to leverage their fame for more fame.
Yeah. Gotta chase that clout, yo.
Yeah, like he's famous for being famous. He started out on YouTube doing whatever it is he did after being on the Disney Channel. And now I feel like that's the fleeting thing about fame. You're not an actor, you're not an actress, you're not a musician. It's all about getting views on YouTube. It's a toxic culture, it seems like.
Yeah,
because
for
you
sure.
always have to step it up to get more views.
It definitely can be. I mean, there are people who have succeeded otherwise, like, and just not just succeeded, but succeeded in such a wonderful way. Sean McLaughlin, Jacksepticeye, that's what his real name is, in case you actually didn't know, since I know you're not really a Jacksepticeye watcher.
Yeah, I was not aware.
Markiplier, Mark Fishbach. Yeah, those are two people that are synonymous with YouTube and YouTube fame, but they continue to do the things that they want to do and enjoy doing. And on their channels, they'll branch out and they'll do other things, but they're still keeping it about, they're not about this Jake Paul mentality of just continuing to build more clout. They already have it and they are successful, and they just keep putting out the content that they want to do, and people continue to come for that, and that's okay. But when you go into this idea of chasing clout for clout's sake, or just, this shock value bullshit, or fighting people that are way above your league, I'm not going to say that he wouldn't whoop my ass, because he would.
Oh, for sure.
But taking on a pro fighter like Mayweather, just I know he's doing a lot. I know Jake's doing a lot of training and keeping himself fit and healthy and all of that, but I don't see it going down well.
Would you box Floyd Mayweather for $10 million?
You mean, would I get punched in the face and keel over and die for $10 million? Yeah, I'll just make sure that I'll do my will beforehand.
You have a year to train.
I don't need it. Just hit me in the temple and make sure it's quick. And I'll take that money, thank you. Break my nose and shove it into my brain. Leave
you lying in a puddle on the floor.
Yep, give me a right hook followed by an uppercut right to the nose, and then we're done.
The quickest boxing match in all of history.
100%. Just make sure you're accurate, friend.
All right, you want to hit me with some space news?
Sure, I can follow up with some space news.
I like that. It got a little demonic at the end.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Puerto Rico allots $8 million funding for a possible reconstruction of the Arecibo telescope.
$8 million?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
In November 2020, it was reported that the Arecibo telescope was slated for decommissioning as the National Science Foundation approximated that it could not be fixed without risking human life. Now a glimmer of hope has surfaced for the giant telescope, as Puerto Rico has now devoted $8 million to the device. This, according to Interesting Engineering, was reported by Engadget. That said, the report indicated that the amount mentioned is probably not enough for the telescope to be fixed, although it could be enough to postpone the decommission.
Yeah, I was going to say $8 million doesn't sound like a whole lot in context of building an entire satellite again.
It doesn't, and especially considering the fact that it had collapsed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that to me makes it more unlikely, I guess, but who knows? I mean, it goes on. The article on Science Times goes on to say the question is if adequate funding would be safe to repair the telescope, or it would be still very dangerous now arises. In a statement, the NSF announced the observatory is not closing. A study comprising archived data from the 1,000-foot telescope will carry on, and the NSF is still searching for ways to restore operations with the other infrastructure of the observatory at the soonest possible time, which includes the 39-foot telescope and LiDAR facilities. Such an announcement gave new hope for the Arecibo.
I say decommission the whole thing and turn it into a paintball course. How sweet of a paintball course would that be?
Sweet and incredibly dangerous, unless they at least took that $8 million to, safetify it. which is a
No,
new
that's
word that
part
I
of the
just made up.
fun.
Oh, yeah?
You're running across those metal bands and you don't know if one of them's going to snap.
Yeah. Fuck safety.
That sounds fun to me.
In my next space news, China's Mars probe has traveled over 4 million kilometers, headed for the red planet, and is expected to land in May.
It's expected to land on Mars.
As of 6 a.m. on Sunday, the probe had flown in space for 163 days and was about 130 million kilometers from Earth and about 8.3 million from Mars. According to the China National Space Administration, CNSA, the probe is functioning stably and is scheduled to slow down before entering Mars's orbit in more than a month and preparing itself to land on the red planet. Since its launch,
That'll be interesting.
On July 23, 2020, the Mars probe has captured an image showing both Earth and the Moon, as well as taking several selfies. It has carried out 3 orbital corrections, a deep space maneuver, and self-checks on multiple payloads. The Tianwen-1 probe, weighing about 5 tons, consists of an orbiter, a lander, and a rover.
I wonder if it's going to land close to our rover.
I don't know. I mean, Mars is a small planet, but it's still big, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, it is about 2,100 miles across, and the Earth is about 4,000 miles across. So it's about half the size of Earth, which means that, for comparison's sake, the entirety of Europe and Asia and Russia makes up about a quarter of the planet as far as landmass goes. So if you were to take 2 of those and put them together, that would kind of give you an idea of the amount of space on Mars.
All right.
So if that makes it a little more easy to envision. So, I mean, there's a lot.
That definitely puts it in perspective.
There's a lot of places that you could potentially land and a lot more places to explore that we were not able to with our rovers.
Is Curiosity, was it decommissioned? It was, right?
Let's see here. No, I think Curiosity is still going.
Okay.
Let's see here. There was Sojourner, Spirit and Opportunity, Curiosity, and Perseverance. Perseverance is actually supposed to land 2021, it looks like. Curiosity landed on Mars August 2012. So, let's see here. Yeah, Opportunity is down. No response has been received from Opportunity since June 10th, 2018. Let's see here. Perseverance launched July 30th and is expected to land February 18th in the Jezero crater on Mars. I don't know. I'm not finding the information that I'm actually wanting there, just to kind of give you an update on the different rovers. But I love the idea that now we have like another country putting their bid in on it.
Yeah.
I think the place where, as a human species, we are best set to actually work together is in the exploration of space.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
I feel that, barring government interference, I feel like the idea of all of the scientists working together, across the world to make these things happen is a testament to our perseverance as a human race.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
So I can only hope that, there's definitely going to be some competition, feelings of competition, but as long as those feelings are healthy competition, and we are getting further science from this exploration, I think that that's the most important part of going out into space with rovers and exploring our immediate solar system.
Yeah.
There's one that I actually didn't know about where we had sent I think I remember reading about it, but I never followed up on it. But it was a probe that we launched at the sun.
We launched a probe at the sun?
Yeah, which is not the first time that we've done it, but this is the closest that we've ever got to it, and it was in 2018. And it's just collecting solar data. I mean...
Is that what the purpose of it was?
Yeah. Yep, just getting up on top of the sun as close as they could. Exposing itself to temperatures similar to that of a crematorium, like 2,000 degrees, which is what they cremate bodies at, round about 1,200 to 1,800 degrees.
Technology is insane. I know that's such like a basic thing to say, but just the fact that they can make a probe that can withstand that heat and still send back data is impressive.
Yeah, for sure. What should also be impressive is, why do I know what it takes to cremate a body?
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask because I was slightly concerned. Yeah, it's between 1,200 and 2,000 to cremate a body.
Right? Let's see here. England is going to send a spider-like rover up to the moon. That is scheduled to launch in 2021. Spacebit is aiming to launch the mission in Q3 2021, according to SlashGear. The unique design makes it very inexpensive to build. Since the rover itself has 4 legs instead of tracks or wheels, it is said to be capable of traveling in rugged terrain with much more ease. It will also help the rover access surfaces that are inaccessible to the traditional rovers. So apparently what they're going to do is send a rover down that also has these spider-like space bit robots in them. And they'll be able to transport the space bits up to places where the rover can't go, and then the space bit will be launched to go over those uneven surfaces.
Imagine being an alien on Mars and that's the first thing you see is some fucking robotic spider coming towards you.
Right? It would definitely be interesting because I feel
you
like...
would shit your Mars pants.
I feel like the... because these ones are going to the moon, and I don't know if the surface of the moon... I guess the pictures I've seen of like the people on there, everything was relatively flat, but I guess, I mean, there's got to be a lot more rocky terrain than just what I'm envisioning.
Yeah, there's mountains and stuff.
Yeah.
But I have the most important space news right here, Remington.
Oh, yeah? You think so?
Uh-huh.
Okay, go ahead.
In 2021, Fast and the Furious 9 is going to space.
What?
Yeah, Fast and the Furious 9 is going to be taking place in space.
That's silly.
I've never seen a Fast and Furious movie, although I feel like I might like them.
I'm not going to lie, they're kind of fun to watch.
Especially as the series goes on and they get more ridiculous.
Yeah. I think it was 3 or 4 was, or I think it was Tokyo Drift was kind of a flop. But all of the other ones have done reasonably well within the franchise. But yes, they just continue to get more and more ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, clearly they're doing well if they're up to 9.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's just a straight up action romp with cool vehicles.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would do in space, though.
Spaceships and stuff, space battles.
I don't think it'll be that. I don't think it'll be that. You want to see fast-ass...
You think that Vin Diesel's car will be launched into space?
I mean, Elon Musk did it. Why not? But if you want to see like kick-ass space battles, watch Cowboy Bebop. Some of those space battles are fucking amazing.
Yeah, I started Cowboy Bebop. I haven't finished it yet. I watched about 3 episodes and really, really loved what I saw of it.
Oh yeah, it's such a great series. It's still
so
overall
you want me to...
my favorite anime series, right up there with Trigun.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and hit my last 2 stories here real quick.
Okay.
McDonald's China is offering a fried Spam and Oreo sandwich.
Ugh, okay.
It'll have a limited run of 400,000 sandwiches.
Okay.
So the big question is, would you try it?
You know, I initially went, ugh, but that's a lot of salty and sweet to mix. It might work.
Like, if the Oreos didn't have the cream, if it was just the chocolate, I feel like that would be better than Oreos with cream.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the Oreos recipe that we know. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be an approximation to fit the idea of a sandwich.
I don't know. I saw the picture and it looked like just Oreos crumbled up on top of a sandwich.
Let's see here. Spam, Oreo, and mayo. Yeah, that's God, that's so weird looking. It does. It just looks like crumbled up freaking Oreos.
Yeah.
I don't think that sounds good. But that being said, I would love to see Josh on the Mythical Kitchen on YouTube make his own rendition of it. I think that he could make a sandwich that would do justice to this idea
Without being like a weird amalgamation of grossness.
Yeah, I think it still would be, but I think he'd do it in a way that it would be surprisingly good.
I don't know. I mean, I've had a burger with peanut butter on it before, and that wasn't too bad. So
Yeah.
maybe chocolate and Spam would be all right.
It's an entirely different sweetness profile though. Like peanut butter's sweet, but it's got a lot of other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And then if you get an organic peanut butter, it's even less sweet. Huh, I don't know, man. That's a weird one.
Like, I might even be more okay with it if it didn't have the burger sauce on it.
Yeah, right? Like it's just mayonnaise.
So Spam, mayonnaise, and Oreos.
Yeah, but who knows? Maybe because mayonnaise can be a lot of different things too. It can have a lot of different tastes. So who knows what the Chinese mayo tastes like, except for those who have
That's a
had
good
it.
point.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. The announcement on McDonald's China's website describes the taste of the Oreo and Spam burger as tender and juicy, full of meatiness, and with a hint of sweet aftertaste that amounts to an unimaginable double surprise.
Looking at the picture and seeing how many Oreos they put on that sandwich, I imagine it's more than a hint of sweetness.
Right? Yeah, like that looks piled on there. That looks like at least 4 or 5 Oreo cookies crumbled up on top.
Yeah, granted, the sandwiches you get never really look like the profile pictures of them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You get catfished, but it's still, they're going to probably measure up like, okay, we put 1 cup of Oreos on each one.
Yeah. Well, probably not
I
1
don't
cup.
know.
1 cup would be a lot.
That's true. That would be a shit ton of Oreos.
Maybe an eighth of a cup.
Entire cup.
Oh, that's funny. All right, man. What's your last story?
My final story, and this one I'm super excited about. I saw it online. It's rumor at this point. It hasn't been formally announced, but the rumor suggests that Netflix is working on an Elder Scrolls TV series.
Oh, you are a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls.
I'm a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls. The lore is amazing. So I think they could really do it justice, depending on which era they set the show in.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a little tidbit of news. Hopefully something comes of it and they actually announce it.
What section of the Elder Scrolls lore would you like for it to take place?
I think taking place during the Oblivion Crisis would be cool, where all the Oblivion gates are opening.
Uh-huh.
That would be neat.
So, give me a little background, assuming that I know nothing about the Oblivion gates, because I don't. Why would that make it the decision for you?
Well, there's a Daedric prince. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's either Mehrunes Dagon or Molag Bal, who was trying to invade the material realm. So he starts opening up all these Oblivion gates, and Oblivion is like the realm where he lives, where the demons live, the Daedra.
Okay.
So he starts opening up these Oblivion gates to invade. So the hero, your main character, has to start closing these gates.
I see.
but there's a lot of like war and stuff that happens during it. The Argonians, which are like the lizard people,
Right.
end up it's actually pretty badass. The Oblivion Gates open and everybody's getting slaughtered because these evil Daedra keep pouring out of the gates, just destroying cities.
Uh-huh.
Well, the Oblivion Gates open in the Argonian homeworld, and the Argonians are so fierce fighters, they go into the Oblivion Gates and start killing everybody inside of the gates so much that the Daedra themselves are like, fuck this, we're not invading them, and close all the gates.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
So that would be neat. Or the Akaviri would be cool. The Akaviri are like the Elder Scrolls version of samurai.
Uh-huh.
And they've never really been explored in the story before.
Wow, that would definitely...
They've just been hinted at.
Mm-hmm. That would definitely be a cool way to go to expand on the world in an unknown way.
Yeah. I'm not going to get into the Elder Scrolls lore because I could talk about it for hours.
Uh-huh.
But it's very convoluted.
Yeah.
That's all I can really say about it. It's very convoluted. Like at the end of one of the Elder Scrolls games, okay, I guess I'm going to get into it for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a giant dwarven statue called the Numidium, and it has the ability to destroy cities. It's just like, it's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Well, you get to decide at the end of the game whether you want to destroy it, keep it unactivated, or use it to destroy some of these cities. Well, to cope with the fact that at the end of this game there were 3 separate endings, the next Elder Scrolls game doesn't even retcon it. It says that all 3 of those things happened at the same time. And that it caused a rift throughout history where everything and nothing happened all at once.
That's pretty timey-wimey of them.
Yeah, so actually a pretty cool way to write it out, I thought.
Yeah. Huh. That's one of those things that I wish I was better at, is remembering the story of these things, of the things that I watch and stuff. I think I've talked about that before, where I just kind of live in the moment of the thing that's happening or that I'm watching, and then after that I kind of forget a lot of it. And it's not that I didn't enjoy it or that it didn't capture my attention. I just lack the ability to remember it, like, vividly. You know what I mean? Like, I can remember bits and pieces of things that I really enjoy, but, you know, talking about the lore of an entire, you know, video game series is just something that I'm not really able to do.
Yeah. Like, I couldn't get into the nitty-gritty of it because there's so much to it. Like, all of the gods have stories and all the stories, because there's so many books in the Elder Scrolls series that you can read.
Yeah.
So, oh man, speaking of video games, we didn't even talk about Cyberpunk.
We didn't. I mean, you can touch on it if you want to.
Yeah, I've been playing Cyberpunk on my Xbox One S, not the Series S, but the One S, so the older system. It runs pretty well. Graphically, it looks like garbage. I'm enjoying it, though. I'm not very far into it. I may be 5 hours in, so I haven't even gotten through the prologue yet. But it is the highest selling PC game of all time, the fastest selling day one PC game of all time.
Yeah. Do you have any numbers on how many people actually returned it?
No, I don't. I know that it sold, I think it was 8.2 million on its first day.
Uh-huh. And then I think it was
I don't know how many.
I think it was like Steam and PS5 and maybe Xbox did as well, offered up extended returns because it was just performing so poorly.
Yeah. Yeah, the game, I don't know. It doesn't run super well. It's unfortunate because the story so far is really good.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm only 5 hours in, so I could run into some game-breaking bugs here later.
Yeah. Do you think, as far as it goes, gameplay versus just story, that you're still okay with it?
Yeah, I mean, the story's really great. The gameplay's good. It's a cover-based shooter. It's very Borderlands in that aspect.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's fun. Lots of customization, lots of skill trees and stuff.
Yeah. That's cool. As long as you're still having fun with it. I mean, that's what makes it that is what makes any game good.
Yeah, I haven't sat down and played it for hours and hours and hours on end, so maybe I would start to notice less of the polish the more I played it.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I've been taking it so slowly, is they're going to release a big patch this month and a big patch next month.
Yeah. Well, in the meantime, you can continue fleshing out your D&D world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is all I've got as far as stories go.
Well, I had a couple other things. One was Elon Musk's global internet, and why it's pissing off astronomers.
Okay.
Basically, the long and the short of it, Elon Musk's, I think it's called the Starlink program. It's basically the idea of sending up to like 12,000 satellites into like a low Earth orbit, which will basically create high-speed internet worldwide.
Okay.
Beta testing in August using only a partial constellation generated download speeds of up to 60 megabits per second and uploads of 18 megabits per second. Since then, it has stepped up a notch, super low latency and download speeds greater than 100 megabits per second, proclaimed the Starlink Twitter account following further tests at the beginning of September. Basically, the big problem that the astronomers are having is the fact that the satellites themselves are quite shiny, which becomes a problem when you are looking through telescopes from the Earth. The more of those, because we already have just a ton of space junk up there anyway.
Yeah.
And, well, actually probably several tons if we're actually talking about weight. But the more of these satellites that pop up and the shinier they are means that there's going to be more light reflection and refraction going on, which means less ability to see past the light pollution that those would create in order to see into deep space.
Has Elon Musk addressed this at all?
The article doesn't really say. This is on PCGamer.com. The president of the American Astronomical Society, Megan Donahue, said, like many astronomers, I'm very worried about the future of these new bright satellites, but I'm looking forward to productive conversations between astronomers and SpaceX. I fully expect that we will come up with creative solutions. I think it's commendable and very impressive engineering to spread the information and opportunities made possible by internet access. So, this is all stuff that's still in the works. So long as there's an open dialogue and discussion with having satellites that aren't as shiny, aren't as reflective, as long as that dialogue exists, I think it'll eventually work itself out in the end. But I think
hopefully.
But I think it's super interesting, this idea of basically worldwide internet. It's based off of laser technology. So it's sending data at the speed of light with lasers. Yeah.
Again, technology, man, it's crazy.
It is. And my final one, this was all my space news. My final one, a Harvard professor says an alien visited in 2017 and more are coming, which actually kind of buries. Yeah, it actually kind of buries the lead a little bit. I don't think he actually properly says that, but Avi Loeb, the chair of Harvard's Department of Astronomy, believes that he has identified alien garbage in the cigar-shaped asteroid that shot into and out of our solar system in 2017.
Man, that's crazy because I remember talking about that in 2017, so 4 years ago.
Yeah. In his upcoming book, Extraterrestrial: The First Sign of Intelligent Life Beyond Earth, out January 20th.
Extraterrestrial colon?
Yes. Out January 26th, the professor lays out a compelling case for why an object that recently wandered into our solar system was not just another rock, but actually a piece of alien technology. So, TLDR, the Oumuamua asteroid came through our solar system starting on September 6th, 2017, came from the Vega system. from the direction of the Vega system, which is about 25 light years away. On September 9th, the trajectory brought it very close to the sun, to which it almost took a curve around Earth in a way that was not conducive to what usually happens with asteroids.
Okay.
September 9th, its trajectory brought it close to the sun. At the end of September, it blasted about 59,000 miles per hour past Venus's orbital distance. And then on October 7th, it shot past Earth's before moving swiftly towards the constellation Pegasus and the blackness beyond, Loeb writes in his book. The object was first spotted by an observatory in Hawaii containing the Panoramic Survey Telescope and Rapid Response System, the highest definition telescope on Earth. As space travelers go, it was relatively small, just about 100 yards long, but it was a big deal to the scientific community. For starters, it was the first interstellar object ever detected in our solar system. Judging from the object's trajectory, astronomers concluded it was not bound by the sun's gravity, which suggested it was just traveling through. No crisp photos could be taken, but astronomers were able to train their telescopes on the object for 11 days, collecting reams of other data. At first, scientists thought it was an ordinary comet, but Loeb said that assumption ran the risk of allowing, quote, the familiar to define what we might discover. Quote, what would happen if a caveman saw a cell phone, he asked. He's seen rocks all his life, and he would have just thought it was a shiny rock. Loeb soon opened his mind. Loeb soon opened his mind to another possibility. It was not a comet, but discarded tech from an alien civilization. The big notes here is that it was a very peculiar shape for a comet. It was a very long, slender, cigar-shaped object. It was considerably shinier, 10 times more reflective than typical solar system stony asteroids or comets. And usually when a comet, asteroid, or what have you comes into the solar system like that and passes by the sun and gets kicked back out, it'll actually slow down. But this did not. It sped up. It was a minor speed up, but it was still important to note that it did speed up. The only time that usually happens is if it gets close enough to the sun to melt some of, some frozen ice.
Yeah.
Or some frozen gases. And those gases create a jet that acts like a rocket and sends the asteroid into a faster state. But when this happened, there was no tail indicating that the speed up should have occurred.
Huh.
If you followed that.
Yeah, I followed that. That's interesting. So it's not behaving in the way that an asteroid should.
Right. So
what he's saying is that he thinks it's an alien. It's something alien.
Yeah, he thinks that it's alien garbage.
Okay.
So it could have easily been something from a society that doesn't exist anymore, that just got jettisoned into space for whatever reason.
Man, I wonder if we're going to see aliens in our lifetime. I would like that to happen. Maybe not even aliens land, but science to say, without any shadow of a doubt, like, yes, we got a transmission from aliens.
I don't know. Did you see that? I saw an article earlier today that said something about the latest COVID-19 bill that had passed also has an addendum for the military to release anything they have on unidentified flying objects.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
We're not going to talk about it now because we've been going a long while. This is going to be probably an hour and 30-minute episode. But yeah, I
love it.
That's weird.
I love the idea, but can we just not write a fucking bill that just gets across the point without having to add in a bunch of stuff? I mean, I'm all for this. I am, but maybe make it its own bill or something.
Yeah, I'm the same. That's one of those things about our government that just infuriates me, is all of the, what do they call it, earmarks?
Yeah.
Or fluff, or whatever you want to call it. All the bullshit
pork.
All of the pork that they put into a bill that has not even a passing integration with what the bill is supposed to be about.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, we need to pass this bill, so let's throw in a bunch of other stuff that hopefully they'll pass with it.
Yeah, that should be illegal to me.
Yeah, you would think so, but our government works in mysterious ways.
It does. All right, so that pretty much wraps us up, yeah?
Yep.
All right, then I will do the outro, eh?
Alrighty, sounds good.
If you have any questions or comments you'd like to hear yourself on air, you can call us at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737. We haven't had a call in a good long time that wasn't just a spam phone call. So you guys wanna talk to us? You guys wanna hear your voice? Give us a ring.
Give us a call.
You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres, email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on our Facebook page like these nice people, Brandon.
Our first comment is from Wizard in the Wardrobe Keisha, who says, I listened to this episode. I miss you guys. Rim's excitement in DuckTales makes me want to watch the reboot.
Yeah, do it. It's so good.
Next comment is from Viscount Terry W. Irvin II, who says, enjoyed the episode. My favorite cereal, Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries, with cocoa wheats a close second. Minor correction. Sperm whales are known to eat giant squid. Humpback whales eat krill, small fish, etc. via filter feeding.
How dare you correct me?
So you fucked that one up, Rim. I blame it on you.
That's fine. I am the worst person. And this is why we are not a real science podcast.
And the final comment is from the Diamond Man, Stephen Hines, who says, great episode, guys. I saw footage of that telescope collapsing and it was pretty epic. And how dare they cancel DuckTales? They must be high on quack.
Also, we actually had another Facebook comment. Mumfrey, aka Negalary, commented on the photo when I changed the cover photo. He said, nice, well-rounded topics. As someone just getting over a bout of COVID, I don't understand not wearing a mask. It hurts my head. Nice coverage of the collapsed telescope, too. That was a significant loss for the astronomical community.
Well, thank you, Mumfrey.
Yeah.
I will take all of the credit for that.
As well you should, I guess. Whatever. It's fine. My opinion doesn't mean anything. I get humpback whales wrong. Confused with spermy whales.
Yeah, you totally fucked up again.
I'm just bad at everything, Brandon.
I know. I mean, no.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. Make sure to subscribe on our website at duelingogres.com. See, I can't even say the words right. For new shows and articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. Also, we actually haven't put out an article for a while. I want to get back into doing some book reviews, but if you want to write something for us, as in you, the listener, bring it on. We'll publish almost anything, really.
Yeah, we will. Just about anything.
Yeah, mostly anything.
I think there's been one article that we've ever turned down, but anything else, straight on.
Yeah, but that's just because it was somebody wanting to write a bullshit article for us to sell their stuff, and I'm like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah, that's true.
And finally, be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or find us on YouTube, iHeartRadio, and nearly anywhere else you can find a podcast. Also, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page and ding the bell to get notifications, we will be launching the episodes of the Stand for the Fire Demon D&D session here pretty soon. I almost have the first video edited and ready to go.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try and turn them. It's going to be real simple edits. It's not going to look like super fancy or anything. It's just going to be taking out little bits of like when we go take a bathroom break or when there's just an abnormally long silence or crosstalk or like before and after talk. Well, I'll cut a lot of that stuff out. But yeah, look for that on our YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go do it.
Yeah. I also want to say, and not to be weird at the end of this episode, but I want to say, Remington, you and I and all the listeners raise a glass to our friend Danny Moe, who was our third on the podcast for quite a while.
Yep.
If you want to check out any episodes that he was on, I went back through and listened. He's on episodes from 68 to 74.
Okay.
So if you want to check him out, go back there and listen to those.
Yep. And give a toast while you do.
Yeah.
I also have one last thing, and that's just to thank all of our patrons. Ryan, Molly, Tatiana, Larry, Steven, Hines, Real Fat Tony, Heavy No More, Chad Good, and Bucky. Thank you all for your continued patronage.
Yeah, thank you so much. It means a lot.
Yep, very much appreciated. That has actually helped to allow us to do the D&D thing. I used some of that money to get the stuff to allow us to play and publish that content. And it also goes toward allowing us to put out these episodes through Libsyn, so...
Yeah, so every little bit helps.
Yep, absolutely. So until next time, Ogres, I'm not going to say next week, although we're going to keep pushing to get back on that weekly schedule. But for right now, until next time, Ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night. All right. Close enough.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to jump off here. I'm fucking starving.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to go make egg sandwiches.
Yum.
Yep. Recording has started.
The recording has started.
The recording has started. The recording has started.
I just took 2 of my nighttime meds. And I swallowed them without any liquid, and they got stuck in my throat and gagged me.
Why in the fuck is that locked? What the fuck are you talking about?
What's locked?
That literally makes no sense.
What's locked?
My Dueling Ogre script.
Weird.
Yeah, it says it's locked by Zed the Destroyer, which is what my computer admin name is. Who fucking knows? This thing doesn't make any goddamn sense. Windows is fucking stupid.
Fucking Windows.
Come on, open it up. Jesus fucking Christ, computer. You are killing me right now.
Literally killing you.
Literally killing me.
Not figuratively.
No. What are you fucking thinking about? Jesus Christ.
I'm doing my best for him.
No, you're not. You're doing the worst.
I object to that.
Overruled.
Aw.
Sustained. Habeas corpus. Other law words.
Quid pro quo.
Banana Republic.
IKEA.
Oh my, I fit it all in there. I didn't think I was going to.
That's what she said?
Most of the time. Like the Hypnotoad. Oh, wait.
Perfect.
I need a word. Give me a word. Pungent.
Hypnotic? Pungent?
Hypnotic. Ooh, which one? Hypnotic or pungent?
Hypnotically pungent?
Hypnotically pungent. All right, fucko. Let's get this tit mouse show on the road. What?
All right.
I love how it never fails that there's something that just fucking goes wrong.
Yeah, that's how it always works.
Watch the fucking recording stop like 10 minutes into us talking.
Don't curse it.
I'm knocking on particle board right now. It's the closest thing to wood I got.
Particle board does everything. Particle board.
So, sorry, I got really gassy all of a sudden.
Jesus. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, since its launch in since its launch, fuck.
Do you need to go get a drink?
Maybe. Since its launch in July 20. Fuck my ass.
Fuck my ass.